100%.
Welcome back, everybody. I have to tell you a story about Swiss cows. This is not a rerun, but in my last update video, I talked about the Swiss cow song that I played for the first episode of the Arbitel series, and I had that cool scene where I was like playing my melodica and the cows were like floating around in the background. Well, the week after that, I went to Darkstar Magic and I gave my class building an astral temple, which went really well. I thought the class went great. But when I left Darkstar Magic that night, I forgot my phone. The next day, I had to go get my phone from Darkstar Magic, and as a person without a car, I had to take the bus. And so I had to use an old analog pocket watch to keep time so I could plan my bus route. And my only pocket watch the first pocket watch I found that was working was this great pocket watch that you are seeing on the screen right now. That is a Swiss-made pocket watch featuring Swiss cows. So I feel like that was a bit of a synchronicity that I wasn't really prepared for. I'm going to try to not mention anything ridiculous nor interesting in this video so I don't tempt future synchronicities. But let's get into it. Let's get into what I've been doing and why I missed a week. So I missed a week because I was traveling. I was, as I've explained before, when I edit videos, I need to use my gaming laptop, which is a huge monstrosity of a laptop and is not easy to travel with. I always travel with just my normal workhorse laptop, which is a great ThinkPad that I've had for years. And so I wasn't able to edit any video, but I did record some video while I was away. I visited my friend Matt, whom you might remember from past videos. I don't know if he's been in any videos on this channel, but I've been in videos in his channel. He has a channel called Maditarian. There's a link below. And he does videos about camping and outdoorsy stuff and hiking in the woods and backpacking and all that kind of stuff. They're really well made. He's a professional video dude. Unlike me, I am an amateur video reject sort of person, as you can tell from my editing skills. But, I took the train up there. It was a really, really lovely ride. I really enjoy train travel. I enjoy how it's very slow and purposeful. I enjoy how you get to watch the scenery more carefully and kind of get a view of the land that you're traveling through on the ground instead of very distantly. In addition, it's super relaxing. I don't have to steer a car or drive anything, so I can listen to podcasts, read a book, do some writing. I think I did all of those things. It was a short train ride though, maybe 2-3 hours. But yeah, I like to go slow and look at the world. I feel that when you travel, that the experience of the journey should be just as pleasurable as the destination. So train is something I love. I love to ride the train. In fact, I haven't been on a plane in a decade, and I am super happy with that. I do not miss airplane travel, and I am sad knowing that someday I will have to take the plane again. And while I have been gone, y'all have not been making it any better. Except I've heard that now you can wear your shoes through the security checkpoint. Woohoo! So while we were up there, another form of travel that I really enjoy is sea travel. And we did get to take the ferry across the Puget Sound. And Matt and I traveled into Seattle and did a little bit of exploring around Seattle. I'm not going to talk about that a whole lot. I'm going to talk mostly about what I'm working on next and what I'm working on now. So by the time this video comes out, especially since I'm doing it so late, the next episode of the Arbitel series is out there covering the first septenary. I thought that Evan and I did a really good job sort of covering it. We're still kind of getting into our stride. We have since recorded the episode after that, which I'm editing now, and I really like this one. I'm very, very happy with it. I haven't yet started working on the song for it, but I've got some ideas. This next episode, which is about the second septenary, has some surprising revelations. If you're reading the Arbatel along with this series, you have no doubt come across the same thing we did when we did a close reading of the second septenary, where we kind of, I think, realized that we needed to revisit some of the basics of our Arbatel exploration, because we might have missed a really essential first step. But we don't know. You got to wait and see. Well, I'm not going to give you any spoilers. The book is only 450 years old. So, no spoilers yet. Go check it out. My update isn't really done. I do still have to work from my notes, though, just because I wanted to remember exactly why I moved all the way over to the other side of the room to sit in front of some of my cool books and the weird things on my other bookshelf. I love that corner that I record in, but it's a bummer that all of my occult books, or the majority of my occult books, are over on this wall and not that one. So, like, my cool blue chair, I get to sit in it and look at my occult books. But when I sit in my cool blue chair and you're looking at me, you get to see, science fiction and stuff like that. So I was sort of talking about my visit up north and how that went, and what I was doing. And I was talking to Matt at the time. I was like, oh, because he's one of the ones who's been encouraging me to do YouTube stuff. Him and the Cosmic guys. And I was talking about how it's tough to do. Recording audio is easy. Editing audio is easy. Video is much more of a pain in the butt. And people care a lot more about video. You can get away with some really crappy audio on a podcast and people are still going to be like, oh, this is great, so insightful. But when it's video, you have to look cool also. And that's a lot of pressure. But the other thing about it, like doing these updates, I decided to do them bi-weekly. I've already screwed that up. I will screw it up again, because it's the summer and I'm going to be traveling. Not only that, it's hot. It's really hot. I don't do so well in the heat. Here's the temperature on my front porch yesterday in the shade. Today's a little bit cooler, but we've got a heat wave coming tomorrow, and who knows how much editing I'm actually going to be able to get done. I'm going to try to do this video today, but by afternoon it's going to be so hot in here. I have all the fans and stuff turned off right now, so my time is limited. I'm starting to feel the sweat and the heat, but it's weird sharing this much of my life. I've never been that kind of blogger or social media user. Maybe I was 20 years ago or something, but nowadays I feel like I enjoy the privacy. These are a little personal. I'm probably gonna start just doing weird things with them, like more Swiss cows, maybe more tarot decks. Have I done any tarot decks? I do have something cool to share. So recently, a really prominent researcher in Oregon Freemasonry passed away. His name was Norm Peterson. He was very well respected, a prominent member of the Oregon Lodge of Research, and a bunch of his books came to the Scottish Rite, and I've been one of the people responsible for sort of going through them and figuring out what we were going to keep, what we were going to give away. These are all books that are just donated. We don't have anything to do with them otherwise. But one of the things that was really interesting is I came across, he had some tarot books, some of which I hadn't seen before. They're right down behind me. I'm going to grab them. This might be an awkward cut. California Raisin, not a tarot book. I have 4 books that I brought home that didn't seem like they would really belong in the Scottish Rite Library, especially since our library is pretty full. The first one, which I'm interested in checking out, is Kabbalah and Psychology by Zev ben Shimon Halevi. Halevi is one of those he started off as like a Hermetic Kabbalist, and he sort of switched over to some somewhat Hebrew type Kabbalist stuff. Not entirely. He's kind of in his own camp, but he's got some really interesting takes on things. Of course, I'm not always a really big fan of the way Kabbalah and psychology get combined by a lot of 20th century Kabbalists, but I've read a number of Halevi's books before, and I have found them to be insightful, so I'm looking forward to checking this one out. This one I was particularly pleased with. Patrick Dunn, Cartomancy with the Lenormand and the Tarot. For a number of reasons. First of all, Patrick Dunn is just an incredible writer. If you, in pagan and magic stuff, if you have been around at all, you have probably seen recommendations for his book on divine magic, for the book, the title of which I always get wrong, which is something like Magic, Symbol, Language, Power, which just like reframes how the information theory of magic works. His Orphic Hymns, which might be right behind me right now. You might be able to see it on the shelf. Also a huge influential thing that has like changed how my practice works. So I have a lot of respect for Patrick Dunn's work. Now, this book, I did not know that it existed before I saw it in the pile. And the Scottish Rite really isn't interested in tarot and cartomancy books, so I snagged it. I haven't really looked through it very much at all. It's kind of interesting. Norm Peterson, he annotated his books, or he at least took notes and sort of underlined stuff in pen a lot, which is a little annoying, but still, this book has a good pedigree, and I'm really looking forward to exploring that and seeing what Patrick Dunn thought and what Brother Norm thought. Dictionary of the Tarot by Bill Butler. Who knows? I don't know. I saw this one. Like I said, the tarot books that were in there were either going to Goodwill or me. So I just took it. I haven't really looked through this much at all. This bookmark is on the Papus, the entry for the Papus. The page is a little ripped, which talks about Pope Joan, of course. So I have looked through this one a little bit. There's lots of stuff. Some great illustrations. Not a lot of annotations in this one from Norm. Tarot Classic by Stuart Kaplan. You have definitely heard that name before. Stuart Kaplan was behind the publishing of a ton of tarot decks. You know, he was a collector. Oh, yeah. He's the president of U.S. Games, or he was the president of U.S. Games. I'm not sure if Stuart Kaplan is still with us. I'm sure this is going to be a fascinating read. It looks like it has some great pictures and illustrations, and it looks like it has stuff on Arthur Waite, A.E. Waite, the Kabbalah. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of the research in here is probably outdated at this point, but this definitely has a bunch of Norm's underlines. Oh, in pencil. Good job, Norm. So I'm really, this is going to be a good one too. I might have a little bit of a tarot nerd out thing here pretty soon, since I've got these new books. So that's about all of my update. Coming up next, I have the next episode of the Arbitel, which will be dealing with the second septenary. Evan and I didn't record because of heat and because of travel. And again, this is going to be an ongoing problem throughout the summer. I really should have thought of that before deciding to start a project right at the beginning of summer. I knew that we would run into scheduling problems with the heat. I just knew it. But what can I do? So there might be some gaps. Some episodes, there might be a 3-week gap instead of a 2-week gap, but I'll keep Patreon supporters updated. I do have a video of my building the Astral Temple class, which I will be editing and uploading to Patreon. I have some supplemental materials for the next Arbitel episode, which I will be uploading to Patreon, and I'll make that available to other people too. And then Evan and I are going to be recording on the third septenary next. Now, I went through it, took a lot of notes. I have a lot of stuff to say about the third septenary because, of course, that's the one with the Olympic spirits. And Evan and I have been joking that we're going to have so much to talk about that we might have to turn it into 2 episodes. And if that's the case, we might have to turn it into 2 episodes. So that's what's coming up. And then my next Darkstar Magic class is going to be either on August 20th or 21st. And it's going to be a deep dive into the Corpus Hermeticum. Now, a few months ago, I did an introduction to Hermeticism class at Darkstar Magic, but in that one, I kind of covered broad topics and sort of the history of Hermeticism and the history of the Hermetica and how it sort of like moved into Europe and influenced European thought and European philosophy. And in this one, I'm going to go into the Corpus Hermeticum itself. And I've already talked to Sam Block about kind of brainstorming with him about some topics and things that I should cover. So, Sam and I approach it a little bit differently, but we still both have like a really intimate relationship with that book. And I'm looking forward to kind of getting his ideas so that it's not just Hermeticism according to Reverend Eric, which, though may be interesting, is probably mostly only useful to me. So that's what's coming up. If you have enjoyed this video and you want to see more stuff, I will probably in the future be sharing more things from my library and more strange stuff. I know you can see I've got the whole Pritzker Zohar right behind me. That took me forever to collect. But, like this video and subscribe to my channel. I think there are links somewhere on your screen to do that right at this moment. If you want to support the Arnemancy stuff that I'm doing, which is like the podcast, some of the web apps that I've done, and and I guess YouTube videos. I have actually some ideas for some YouTube videos that are not just updates. Anyhow, if you want to support all that stuff, go to patreon.com/Arnemancy. You can support this for as little as $1 a month. And $1 a month will get you early access to YouTube videos, to podcast episodes, etc., etc. Thank you very much. I will see you next time.